Oh hey, hi, I'm J.Lynn Johnston. What's up, guys? I've been fiddling around with my GoPro original Hero camera the last couple days. I added an external microphone hanging down here, little input, 3.5 millimeter. There are tons of dudes on YouTube who have done this mod, so I didn't really feel like I needed to make a new video. I consulted a few of the videos and then mostly stuck with EveRide's instructional because I knew he was going to use his GoPro Hero for the same thing I was going to use mine for, and that is as a motorcycle helmet cam. I'm excited about this little mod though because now what it will allow me to do is narrate some of my motorcycle rides. Now, because this is a flip face helmet, this one here, that spot right there was the only place that I could actually mount it. I have another full face helmet that I was able to mount it a little further forward and get the chin bar out of the frame a little more. But I'll show you the setup. So let's see if I can do this one-handed. Like I said, the GoPro goes in upside down because it's hanging upside down. And then I wind up feeding this little guy through the vented back. I had to Dremel out a tiny bit of the plastic of the case right there to allow the cable to pass through without crimping. But then it just comes out the vented back like so, one-handed, and I'm ready to roll. Now, I have a microphone on order. It's not here yet. So just to test to make sure I'd done everything correctly, what I did was I just plugged in my iPhone headphones. So that's not ideal because then you got the earbuds in, you got to deal with all the extra stuff, but I made it work. I'll show you. Okay, so what I've done, as clunky and silly as it may be right now, is I put my iPhone headphones in, I brought the cable down, and I actually safety pinned the little microphone part to the cheek pad here, coiled up the rest of it, and then ran the chin strap through there to keep that up, and then plugged it on in. So we'll see how the audio signal is for now. I've ordered an actual lavalier microphone that I'm going to be permanently installing. But since I want to play now, this is what I'm going to test it with. So I'm expecting there to be really bad wind noise when I have the face flipped up. But we'll see. Maybe it'll sound decent when it's down. Alright, so I've got the lid up, front face up on the helmet. I'm going to go ahead and close the helmet and let's make a little right here. Now, it's funny because this GoPro had just been sitting in my closet for quite a while. I got it on woot.com, kind of a blowout price a couple years ago, which was great. I was happy to have it. I had real big aspirations that I was going to use it over and over and over all the time, and you know, somehow rig it up so that I could narrate some of my motorcycle rides, maybe even become a pretty consistent moto-vlogger. Not that I'm really gonna, you know, compete on the same level with some of the more expert riders or anything like that. I got no delusions. But you know, whenever you buy something new, you get a new toy, you have big aspirations and big hopes. Hi, puppy. Dogs don't like motorcycles very much. So what happened was I used it a couple times and I wound up mounting it at the top of my helmet. But top of the helmet, every time you move your head, it just, because of the whole physics of the thing, just the movement was so exaggerated. The pivot point for your head is at the bottom of your head, and so by the time all that added distance was added into the equation, and it got all the way up to the top of the head, every time I moved my head up or down, it was like getting seasick. The wind noise was just awful, and it just kind of bummed me out. So I didn't wind up using my GoPro as much as I had initially planned on using it. This is kind of fun. There's an actual railroad caboose in my neighbor's yard over here. This is, of course, the same neighbor who is building himself a kit log cabin. He's been working at this just by himself, for years now. I actually felt really bad. The other year there was a pretty bad windstorm. And see that camper in the back? That's where he's living while he finishes up his dream home there. A couple years ago, with that bad windstorm, it actually brought an oak tree down right on top of his camper. And he had to scramble. He was then homeless. He had a nice, awesome, cool log cabin that he was trying to finish, and it wasn't ready to live in yet. And the trailer he was living in the meantime got crushed by this oak tree. It was pretty scary. So apparently it looks like he now has a new trailer, a new camper to live in while he works. So that's good. Thumbs up. Anyway, back to my GoPro story. It got to the point where I was pretty much giving up on the GoPro itself, and I was actually looking at buying a different camera setup so that I could do some of this motorcycle video stuff. And I kind of just wound up feeling pretty ashamed of myself for even going down that route, because here I was with a perfectly good piece of equipment that I hadn't even tried to modify, hadn't even done my homework and my due diligence to even get the full use out of, you know? And so I kind of kicked my own self in my own ass with my own feet and said the least I should be doing is giving it a shot. You know, if I bust this thing open and, you know, get a little too funky crazy with my soldering iron and ruin it, then I can start looking at, you know, a little more turnkey of a solution for motorcycle videos. But you know, I figured in the meantime I had to do my homework and do some modifications on my own and just see if I could get it to work. So that's what I did. You know, it's funny how we tend to, at least I personally, tend to attach myself to the hope of a new piece of gear or a new toy or a new something. You know, I've been a musician my whole life, and I've always assumed, that, you know, when I get a new guitar or when I get a new effects pedal or when I get, man, that's just going to complete my setup. I'm going to be so productive. So many songs are just waiting to be unleashed from this beautiful new instrument or whatever. When in reality, it doesn't change much. You know, you got some enthusiasm with your new toy, but if it's that new toy enthusiasm that's the only thing keeping you playing music, then you're gonna have to be pretty rich, because you're gonna have to buy a lot of new toys very often in order to keep your enthusiasm up. You know, in reality, if you're not using the things you already have to the best of their abilities, you're probably not going to use whatever new thing you have to the best of its ability either. Hi, kitty. That cat is stalking something. So, that was my own little kind of shot in my own arm to bust out soldering iron and give this thing a test. So, I've got it mounted down low, which is nice. Should reduce the movement a little bit. But I have noticed actually just on this ride that it's bumping my shoulder pad a little bit. We'll see what I can do about that. There was a forest fire, little brush fire, burned like a couple acres up that way. That was fun. Lots of sirens the other day. Fun little neighborhood rides. So this might not be the helmet that I wind up using for the most part. Because like I said, I know that there's a lot of the chin in the shot. The other helmet's got kind of a better mount point because it doesn't have to deal with the hinged portion. These guys are wearing bright orange. Safety first, folks. Go Giants. This barn, I don't know if you can see. Number one, oh God! Look at the skid marks heading right off the road. Somebody crashed through the fence. The funny thing about that barn, I don't know if you saw it when I was heading the other direction, they painted the entire thing except for, like, I don't know, 20% of the back of it. It's like they ran out of paint and never went and bought more, so it's been sitting for 2 years without having the paint job finished. Kind of an eyesore. So, my family and I always joke about going and writing dirty words in the unpainted portion just to motivate them to cover it up finally. but knowing them, we just have to look at the dirty words every time we pass by. Anyway, I'm gonna go put this footage into the old lappy-tappy and see how this audio sounds. Faceplate up. Oh, hi guys. What's up, internet? Parked. And we're home. Okay, bye.